All right, gather round, folks, because tonight we're diving headfirst into the thrilling world of tax law. Don't worry, I promise this is actually interesting. It involves planes, money, and a legal battle for the ages. In this corner, we have British Salmson Aero Engines Limited, a British company. In the other corner, the Inland Revenue Commissioners, basically the British taxmen. Let's get ready to rumble. This whole shebang started back in the 1930s. See, British Salmson made airplane engines, which, let's face it, is a pretty cool business. They struck a deal with a French company, Société des Moteurs Salmson, for the rights to manufacture some fancy French engines. This agreement is important because it's at the heart of the case. And like any good legal drama, it all boils down to money. Specifically, how to classify payments for tax purposes. Buckle up, because this is where it gets juicy. So picture this. British Salmson gets the green light to build these French engines. In exchange, they agree to pay the French company in two ways. First, a hefty lump sum up front. Think of it as a down payment, a thanks for letting us use your awesome engine designs kind of thing. French company representative second, they agree to pay royalties, basically a percentage of the profits from each engine they sell, like a thank you note with every sale. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, here's where the CIR steps in with a big ol' hold my tea. They wanted their cut, naturally. The question was, what kind of payment were these? Was that initial lump sum a capital payment, or was it income? And what about those royalties? The answer, my friends, would determine how much tax British Salmson had to cough up. Get ready for the legal showdown. Now, to understand the taxman's logic, we need to delve into the fascinating distinction between capital payments and income payments. Think of it like this. Capital is like the tree and income is the fruit. Capital is a long-term asset, the foundation of your business, like a factory or equipment. Income, on the other hand, is the money you make from using those assets, like selling those engines. British company representative. The CIR argued that both the lump sum and the royalties were income. Why? Because British Salmson was essentially paying for the right to make money, and that sounded like income to them. They saw it as a direct result of the company's trading activities, like selling those engines. British Salmson, however, saw things differently. They argued that the lump sum was a capital payment, a one-time payment for the acquisition of a capital asset, the right to manufacture the engines. The royalties, they claimed, were simply the cost of using that asset, like rent for a factory. Who would emerge victorious in this battle of financial interpretations? Stay tuned! Section 4, British Salmson's argument, one lump sum, then it's income time. British Salmson decided to fight the taxman's claims. They went to court armed with their interpretation of the law and a whole lot of determination.
They argued that the lump sum was a capital payment because it secured a long-term asset, the right to manufacture the engines. This wasn't just a one-off payment for a batch of engines. It was an investment in their future. They argued that the lump sum was more akin to buying a factory or a patent, something that would provide a lasting benefit to the company. It was a one-time payment, not a recurring one, which further supported their claim of it being a capital expense. As for the royalties, British Salmson argued that these were simply the cost of using the acquired asset, much like rent is paid for using a property. They were directly related to the number of engines produced and sold, making them a variable expense rather than a fixed income stream.
Would the court see things their way? Let's find out. The case then moved to the special commissioners, who had to weigh the arguments presented.
The key issue was whether the payments were capital or income. Capital payments are generally not taxable as income, while income payments are subject to tax. After much deliberation, we concluded that the lump sum payment was indeed capital in nature. It was a one-time investment in a long-term asset, the right to manufacture the engines. However, the royalties were a different matter. They were paid based on the number of engines produced and sold, making them a recurring income stream, and thus taxable.
With this decision, the case was set to move to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal had the final say on the matter.
We reviewed the evidence and the arguments presented by both sides. The distinction between capital and income is crucial in tax law. We upheld the Special Commissioner's decision. The lump sum payment was a capital expenditure, a one-time investment in a long-term asset. However, the royalties were indeed income. They were directly tied to the production and sale of engines, making them a recurring revenue stream.
With this ruling, the Court of Appeal clarified the tax treatment of such payments, setting a precedent for future cases. So, what can we learn from this case?
This case highlights the importance of distinguishing between capital and income payments. Capital payments are generally investments in long-term assets and are not taxable as income. On the other hand, income payments are recurring and tied to the ongoing operations of a business, making them subject to income tax. Understanding these distinctions can help businesses navigate the complexities of tax law and avoid costly disputes with tax authorities.
Indeed, this case serves as a valuable lesson for businesses and tax professionals alike. Always be clear about the nature of your payments to ensure compliance with tax laws.